And we're live. Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. And today I'm hanging out with Andrew Thomas. And so we're going to be talking about, you have a Kickstarter going on today where you're doing commission art, characters, maps. I came. And so we're going to be talking about, you have a Kickstarter going on today.
Echo, yeah.
Got myself again.
That's all right. I do the same thing.
So I guess we kind of came together through 3D printing and Shapeways.
Yep.
You were nice enough on GM's Day last year to send us a care package with an awesome D20 that I intentionally kept away from Ted because I knew it would hurt his soul a little bit because of metal. It was metal and like hollow and carved and really awesome looking. Actually, I wish I had it handy right now, but I think it's upstairs.
Yeah. So I'm my day job is I'm a community manager for Shapeways, which is a 3D printing service and marketplace. We have an awesome community of designers who make everything that you could ever imagine someone could make, but a lot of that are really, really cool dice and miniatures and fun things like that. And actually, like more through Shapeways, I've sort of kind of gotten a lay of the land of the tabletop gaming world, and started playing RPGs about 2 years ago, and just loved it. And I just absolutely like adore the process. I started GMing maybe like 6 months ago, and then in addition to 3D printing, my passion is art and drawing, and sort of world building. So those things are all kind of coalesced. And I made a Kickstarter commission project for people who, if you want commissions of your characters and maps.
So I didn't realize you were so new to gaming. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a video gamer, and I liked like generic board games and like Risk and things like that. But yeah, I'm very new to like tabletop and role playing, and I've sort of just like dove into it, and I'm like, why didn't I do this for the last 28 years of my life? But it's been a nice surprise when what you do for work, you realize that you actually really like personally just enjoy.
So what was kind of like the progression? You were working at Shapeways, you're the community manager there.
Yep.
And was it like doing your research, like what are people going to use this 3D printing stuff for? Yep. And then you're like, minis, well, what's that about?
Yeah, it's sort of just like seeing what people want to make and what people are buying, and sort of coming at it from a community perspective. It's often about like, what are people making for one another? What are people contributing, and what are people willing to spend money on and get passionate about and get into. And tabletop gaming is definitely a big one, and so that's sort of been split into like wargaming, so like the whole 40K world, and then some other cool like historical games, and then like RPGs, D&D, Pathfinders, anything that you use crazy cool dice for. And there's so many people that just like love the dice and collect them, and we make some really extraordinary cool dice that you just can't make any other way. They're metal. They look crazy. And so through that, just I went to a couple smaller cons, and then I went to Gen Con, and sat down at some tables, and played some games and had a blast. I got into it through that. And it's kind of funny because I think, especially like D&D is the sort of thing that it's maybe the hardest kind of game to get into if you don't have friends who already play it. And that seems like that's like the biggest barrier, is that, I had to go to a gaming con and like sit down with a bunch of strangers and be like, all right, I'll try this. And then now I've like brought it back and been like, all right, guys, you're all going to play this game now. um,
that is true. I mean, it's getting easier because you can go find like adventure leagues, but I mean, still you're going to be doing it with strangers. But I feel like that probably is the same with almost any hobby you start.
Totally.
And no one in your circle is doing it.
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and go and find the thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's the same thing with the hobby painting, or I don't know, I'm wearing a roller derby shirt. Like I learned about that from friends, and yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing with anything.
You're into roller derby as well?
Yeah, I did it for a short amount of time and then realized that I don't like getting hurt anymore. So
I took my kids to see like one game just because it was like a local thing and fun. And then like I also have I do have some friends that are really into it, but I watched the game and had no idea what was going on.
It's basically rugby on roller skates, and you go in a circle. So it's like a race. But yeah, it's very confusing if you don't know the rules, and especially when you're playing and you don't know the rules, you get a lot of penalties, and then that's not fun.
Now in my mind, I have this idea that it's for rednecks that can't afford cars. Going with.
Yep.
That is definitely cool. Brian Stillman, I don't know if it's his wife, a significant other, girlfriend, or whatever, but she does, she's involved with the roller derby league, and they're actually in your neck of the woods as well. Brian Stillman has done the Plastic Galaxy documentary and is currently working on the Eye of the Beholder Art of D&D.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. Kyle Ellis actually has a question for you, though. So do artists start making a character with its appearance first? Because as a writer, I start with a personality and history and do appearance last, since I'm not that artistic. So I guess he's asking, what is your process for, where do you start?
I like starting from I think the same point that a writer does, that I really like hearing about like who the character is and their lore and their history and I guess you start in D&D with like class and race, and then like alignment. I like to just make inferences and like imagine it kind of from there. And usually like people will just tell me like, some things like he has a scar here, or they have this special weapon that the GM gave them, and like give like a couple of like descriptions. And then just try to make it up and sort of imagine what playing with that character is, or GMing for that character, how that feels. And just having fun and treating it like a collaboration, where someone has made up this thing and it's in their head, and I'm trying to imagine that and get it out of their head, which is I think a really fun process.
So did you start your like character commissions by just being the artistic person at the table, and people are like, oh, I see you drawing stuff, can you draw my character?
Yeah, it's because I'm a bad player and I have trouble paying attention for long periods of time. And so on my notebook, I'll just start scribbling things, and, I'm like keeping track of damage or something. And then I'll just start drawing a character. And then once I finish mine, I'll start drawing other people's. And that's how it started. And yeah. So it's because I'm a bad student.
And then what is your preferred medium?
I think for these, I've been doing them digitally. So I might sketch them on paper, and then I use Autodesk Sketchbook and Photoshop to make it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You did a quick sketch for me as well. I'm gonna see if I can share it and bring it up if Google Hangouts will cooperate. Sometimes when I go to share things, for some reason it just does not want to do it. And then some days I will share like all the things.
Yeah, Hangouts is its own beast.
Yeah,
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 there we
and
go.
always changing as well. Yeah, so you kind of did a little re-envisioning of the worm character from Saver Dice.
Yep.
I like him. He's cute.
Yeah, I like making cute. I think it's just have these be like simple and nice and kind of quick. And so I think they're more Tumblr than they are like D&D rulebook style. Because yeah, there's definitely some incredibly talented artists out there that you know there's masters, and I can't go up against that yet.
So so how would you define your style if you had to?
I think I mean I definitely really enjoy a lot of kind of like retro comics. Um, so that would be like Mobius. I'm really into. Shoot, what's the name of the guy who does Dragon Ball Z?
You're
Yeah.
probably you're gonna get bombarded in the chat, I'm sure, but I don't know. Believe it or not,
Um,
I'm actually not a Dragon Ball Z fan.
yeah, and Joff Darrow, I met at Comic Con uh, a couple weeks ago, um, and like bought so much stuff from him. So he's one of my favorites. He did what's it called? Uh, Hard Boiled. It's like a Frank Miller comic about a guy who realizes that he's a robot and goes on a killing spree. It's great.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, your day job, I imagine you have to travel to a lot of the conventions and cons for, right?
Yeah. That was, I mean, New York Comic Con was here, and then that was kind of my time off. I was like, I'm gonna go troll the downstairs artist alley and like just like blacked out and walked away like $200 poorer.
Yeah, like where did it all go? I guess they just had Lexicon not that long ago, and like I have a bunch of friends that went there, and they're just showing like all the stuff they came back with. I'm like, man, how much did you guys spend?
Yeah, it's bad. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I got to meet Jeff Darrow, and his style is awesome. So kind of go for that like strong lines and then kind of simple colors that fit together and like go together well, I guess would be my jam.
Nice. So, what kind of stuff did you like drawing before you discovered tabletop role playing games?
Oh geez. So I went to art school, and I was the bad kid that was just like, I like comics and fantasy and sci-fi, and all of my teachers were like, "That's not what you're supposed to do here." So,
As you can imagine, you are not the first person to say that because we've had quite a few artists on the show, and yeah,
yeah,
that would be a common theme.
yeah, you're not supposed to do that in like in the academic art world, and actually like it was good because I definitely grew to enjoy a lot of that stuff too. Um, and now I know my general postmodern art history stuff. But I didn't walk away like being like, no, I'm done with fantasy stuff. I just like it more. um, so yeah, I drew, yeah, comics. There's I guess my Twitter or my Instagram probably has like just a couple of years worth of doodles and things. A lot of yeah anthropomorphic animals and just kind of fun dumb things.
Yeah, my brother graduated from UA
Uh-huh.
in Philadelphia with it was a degree in illustration. And yeah, for him, like I guess you got a lot of the same, but for him is that's where he discovered like the medium that he likes to work in,
Mm-hmm.
which is three-dimensional sculpture.
Yep.
But then he like photographs it and turns it into, I guess, an illustration.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, like are you familiar with Red Nose Studios?
Red Nose Studios. No.
So it's a very similar. It's when he started out, his style was very similar to that.
Mm.
To his bane and detriment a little bit because a lot of times we'll hear, "Oh, your stuff looks great. You should stop trying to be like so and so." But he had started like working that way,
Yeah.
and then someone's like, "Hey, you should check out Red Nose Studios."
Yep.
and then and it just so happens that he just likes working that way. I think right now on his channel he's working on a um what is it, St. George piece, St. George and the Dragon piece.
Oh wow, you'll have to send me his info. I want to check that out.
Yeah, I think he's trying to. I think he's going to be submitting it to John Cincinnati, who I cannot say his last name for the life of me. Who's doing? He's doing like a dragon book, but he's like taking submissions from pretty much anyone that wants to send them for all different things. So it's probably going to be really cool. I think it's called like Tiny Dragons or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think like the idea was he wanted like all cute stuff to put in it, but then he's getting like such like all this like other amazing art as well, and he's just like, I think he's just decided to put that stuff in there too. Do you know who he is?
No.
Okay.
The Tiny Dragons.
No. So John Cincinnati was the creative director for Dungeons and Dragons from the time Wizards of the Coast took over until probably just before or just after 5th edition launched.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of the art from D&D, he was the guy.
Wow. Yeah.
That was making the calls and making the choices. So
that's very cool.
So back to gaming. What are you guys playing now? You guys playing D&D? Are you playing other role-playing games?
I'm running a Dungeon World campaign right now. So that's now I'm always blanking on things. What's his name? I imagine that you would know him, right? It's the guy with pink hair.
Adam Koval.
Yeah, Adam Koval. And is it like Zach something? I have to Google it. I'm bad.
No, that's okay. I'm familiar with the game. I have actually I've not played it. I own it somewhere around here amongst all my other books. It's on my list.
I like it because I like that the system gives you experience for failure. So whenever you fail a roll, you would gain experience, and I think that that's kind of great for some reason. That like it's not as much about like you beating difficult monsters or something. It's more about you like putting yourself in like weird situations. I don't know. I feel like it makes characters a little bit more not like aggressive, but people take like more interesting risks when they're like, I might die from this, but if I don't, I'll get some XP. You know.
That sounds like a good system for me because dice hate me. So sounds like I would be able to get a lot of XP that way.
Yeah, and it's really simple. So it's our group is not all experienced role players. Only 2 of us have before, or maybe 3 of us. So it's easy, and it's kind of just like you can just say like, okay, roll the dice, and I'll let you know what happens, and you don't have to do too much extra math or any know a lot of rules. So yeah, I love it.
We actually had that discussion the other day. Like it's better that way when people don't know the rules. In some ways, it's just easier to be like, well, what do you want to do? And then they tell you, like, all right, roll the dice, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because I being new to D&D, I'm not the one who runs into this or other people, but I guess I just read a lot in like message boards about like that that is very aggressive and like knows exactly what they want to do, and they kind of break the meta of the game. And yeah, so I don't see that problem happen often, like personally, but I think that's annoying because it's about role playing, not the rules necessarily. So I'm all for anything that's simple.
Now, is this the office game you guys have been threatening for a while?
We haven't had a chance to do it. We're just so busy. But yeah, we have to have you come in, and we want to play a game. Our PR manager, Lise, insists that she wants to dress up as Jabba the Hutt for the whole thing.
She's very committed to the role of being a slug person.
Yep. Yeah, and she wants to be a slug, and so I was like, how are we gonna do that? And I was like checking like stats for like giant slugs, and then I was like, well, maybe we'll let her pick a character, but we'll just like give her 0 intelligence. Or no, it was like 1 intelligence and like 0 charisma or something like that. And just like see what happens if she always fails charisma rolls. And she's just really ugly. But yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Let's see. Where did I see you guys? I saw you guys at Gen Con, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was dressed up as a space marine?
Yes. Yeah, as a Acadian, I think. The human, the not super monster human gene manipulated versions. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about this game and the conviction that she had for playing the slug person. It was overpowering. And guys, like you gotta imagine, because Lise is this really beautiful Amazonian esque woman because she's very tall.
Yeah.
As well. And she's like her face would just light up. I'm going to play this slug, and Andrew made the race for me, and I'm so excited. And then for the longest time, I'm like, what is with this weird slug fetish? Then it turns out you guys had did something for another convention where you guys cosplayed, and she was Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, yeah, and I was Slave Leia for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I have to justify to the marketing department why we need this Jabba the Hutt costume. So it must be used.
It must be used. Yeah. Once you buy a Jabba the Hutt costume, like there's a clause that says that you have to wear it at least once a year.
At least.
And I mean, if she could wear it more, she absolutely would. It's hard to get around the office in it. Yeah, we have fun. It's good. It's all
yeah,
good. So yeah, we have to start that game.
Get get the plankin from Return of the Jedi so she can just be wheeled around.
We if she sees this, she'll like it. I think she has a tweet recently that we were talking about like negotiating contracts too, and she was saying that every time like someone tells her like this is what they want, she like thinks in her mind of that scene of Jabba the Hutt being like ha 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 and like his like tongue like rolling around in his mouth. When they're negotiating for Han Solo.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
That is great.
That's her job. That's her job, is to be the Jabba the Hutt of the negotiation. So it's always fun. Yeah.
I'm trying to see. I have my brother actually did like a slug people.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm trying to think if I can find it or not. But I think I just might be able to, if the internets will cooperate with me.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
But yeah, he did. What did he do? He did like these slug people. Oh no, they're mushroom people, and they herd slugs. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh, like they're beasts of burden to the mushroom people.
Yes.
I want to see that.
It was one of the things he was experimenting with a while back. I want to see it too. Now I just have to find it. But it's definitely it's weird, the things we talk about on this show. But
it's cool.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So how long has your Dungeon World campaign been going on?
We're not that long. We're like 3 sessions in. And I'm sort of committed to the idea. Like I pitched them on it that this would be a cross between Game of Thrones and Animal Crossing. And so I think like I'm still learning what I meant by that. But I think what it is that like it's sort of like a standard party thing, but they're now on the small council for a small town duchess. And they're helping her make decisions about how to run the kingdom. And so I think next section shit will hit the fan, and some people are going to do some bad stuff. But I'm trying to because I like the idea of like giving people like a little bit of like breathing room to like have like side projects that are not necessarily like relevant, but other things that their characters care about. So it's like, are you gonna like make a garden, or are you like looking to like have some nice furniture now? Or one of the characters is starting a brewery, um, and like letting kind of like having that happen so that like later on when something happens, like that will be a thing that is affected.
I
And
just think it's great. You're like, yeah, this is the game I'm running. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that means.
yeah, and like yeah, I don't know, like I'm I mean, you know a lot more about probably jamming than I do, but I sort of like I make all the lists and all the things, and Dungeon World does a really good job with kind of this like front based system. So it's um it and I think it comes from like Apocalypse World, um where like you don't have to like plan the whole encounter out. It's that you plan like what are who's this bad guy, what do they want to do, what are their motives, and then what are the things that would need to happen in order for their motives to get fulfilled. um, and it's a nice way to organize it, and it's like really quick to kind of like go through them, and you can kind of like shuffle them in and out. um, and yeah, I think it's like it helps me plan stuff a lot.
Yeah,
um,
I think the thing with Dungeon World is it takes players that are willing to like really interact and play the game.
yeah.
Where if you kind of have like maybe like more of a wallflower type
Yep.
individual in your game, it's going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely it's a little bit more open, and so yeah, the role playing aspect of it is kind of necessary. And we're still figuring that out too, because yeah, we're all newbies.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone starts somewhere. Like, I know one of my I like one of the cool things about that system is like that, like there's not initiative the way there is in D&D. It's like, oh, you have something cool you want to do, well, you just kind of do it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, all the roles are really easy, and yeah, it's very open, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it seems good for new people. I learned about it through friends at the table, um, uh, which is uh, why I'm blanking on everyone's name
Oh
again.
no.
I'm sorry.
Are you playing at a hobby store, or are you playing, or actually hobby
No,
store?
playing right here in my apartment. Yeah.
So, you know what? That's an interesting topic. How did you go about building your gaming group from someone who's really new to the hobby?
It is my roommate who's lurking around here somewhere, but I told him to be quiet. Uh, he just heard that probably. My girlfriend, a colleague and friend from Shapeways, and then another guy uh, who I met at a cosplay party, and who's like also like a uh, big, big gamer. It's Austin Walker is the guy who that runs Friends at the Table. No, I remember, and yeah,
So you literally just grabbed everyone
and
you
Alley West.
like, we're doing the thing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think the Shapeways one, yeah, that because like Lisa insisted on being a slug, so we have to save that for her
Yeah.
for one internally, and then yeah, we want to. It would probably be Giovanni, who's our social media manager, and he's in this one. Um, would do that one, and yeah, and we got to get you into the office to help us do it.
Well, I must
Um,
say it will not be the first time. We have been known to travel to make these things happen.
yeah, we're not too far away, right? Like you're
No,
maybe like an hour and a half.
you're 2.5,
Okay.
2.5 for sure. But like I said, that it's not far at all. We drove down to Virginia and uh, and ran a game for Halloween for the Think Geek people. So that was pretty cool. So we're always into going, meeting new people, playing games, and doing the thing.
Yeah, it'd be very fun.
So absolutely. Well, how many characters have you drawn since you started playing? Like, in the past 2 years, like how many of your group has
Ooh.
hounded you?
I'm probably like 50. They're not. There's definitely some examples in the Kickstarter There's a link on that your YouTube channel, and I have some examples there. And then my Instagram account is just like everything. And that's that's like doodles that I make now and put them out. And I don't know, I kind of like I like thinking about drawing as and like sort of like playing games too. It's like an athletic thing, you know? So it's like I'm more concerned with like practice and just doing it constantly and like getting better like really gradually than I am with like taking something and doing it perfectly. Except when I'm making something for someone else. And so that's sort of why I like the idea of doing like a big commissions project, is that I feel shame if someone doesn't like my drawing. And so I want to feel that, so that I make good things for you. And that's sort of, yeah, the exciting thing for me is like hearing about someone else's idea and trying to meet their expectations. And making it good, making it kind of be what they were looking for.
Yeah, so my brother was the guy for us for the longest time, and it's somewhere there might be a folder that Ted has of the deceased characters that he's drawn.
That would be awesome. Yeah, having like a in memory of kind of
yeah
special
exactly.
episode.
Quite a few of them. Few of those drawings are character deaths. It's definitely need to do. Like one of his early characters was this minotaur that got impaled by lances, heavy lances. So.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be a great book.
Jacob has a question for you. Do you have a favorite character you've done?
A favorite character that I've done. I like doing. My girlfriend, I made Judy the Dwarfen Barbarian for, and I thought that was sort of fun because it kind of looks like her. And then I like my frog people. I've wanted to make a game about like just frogs for a while. I also I like frogs. I think that's like my go-to like doodle. If I'm so bored and like just mindlessly doing something, like, so there's something about drawing like two eyes and having them not fit right on a head. Frog. And so I really enjoy doing those. And what else? I have another project going on separately from this. That's a board game. So I drew all of the cards for that, called Tesseract Wars. It's probably floating around somewhere on one of the pages that I've shared. And that's been sort of my big project going on like while I've been doing characters. So the characters have been kind of like the have fun, ease back and enjoy it. And then I've been doing that, and now I'm sort of switching them and focusing on the characters for a little bit while the game gets finished out.
So we're going to jump into roll call, guys. And Zarif Gaming wants to know how much you charge for commissions. I also say, there's a bunch of links in the description, including your Kickstarter you're working on right now. Yep. And actually, I found your Tesseract Wars through the Kickstarter link.
Yes. Yeah, it's in there somewhere, right? It's on my website. I think that links to my general website.
Yeah. So,
too much stuff.
Zarif Gaming's question was, how much are your commissions?
So $5, and you'll get a doodle shout out. And that means anything that I wanted to. So if you just want me to doodle something for you, and say hello, then you'll get that. $25 for some line art. So that's an example of what I sent Dave that he shared on the screen earlier, and I can post that somewhere. And then it'll be $40 for color, $50 for a map. Maps I think take a little longer, and I want them to be kind of big and cool. And then there's a couple other pledges there.
That's the general rundown.
That's the general rundown, yeah. And then if you want, you can. I'm gonna stream them on Twitch once this gets funded and it's up and live. So if you want to like watch and give feedback and see it happen and tell me what to do, you can join the Twitch channel and I'll do that.
Oh, cool.
But I haven't really launched the Twitch channel yet. So what? Sorry.
You'll be doing some live draws. Cool.
Yeah. Because I think, I mean, you're a content creator. Like I think everything could be good content, and it's fun to do it. I see it as being collaborative, and it's about doing it for someone. So doing it live seems like the best way for us to spend time making it happen.
Yeah, one of my friends that plays in my Tuesday night game, and she's in the Tuesday night game because I discovered her through. She does these monster tokens, but they're like all like really psychedelic. So when people retweet her stuff, she picks one of them to pick another monster out of the monster manual, and it looks like, I don't know if you remember like the blacklight posters from like Spencer Gifts from back in the day.
Yes.
They're like all psychedelic, crazy colors like that.
That's rad.
That's Jen from Pixelscapes.
Pixelscapes
is a lot. It's a lot of fun. So I did eventually find the image I was looking for, and it was something. Here I memed it like years ago, I think. But yeah, that is his mushroom people with his the herd of snail people.
I love it. That is so good.
Yeah, so yeah, he's been working on that stuff for a while. It's kind of fun. So I'm going to jump into the chat now and see where you guys are coming from. We're well past the halfway mark. So we got Todd in Dallas. I can't talk. We also have Ed Does Everything in Dallas as well. We got British Columbia with Kyle. Truemate is in Wales. Luxembourg in the house with Jeff. Raven coming to us from the OZ. Ghetto Stabulous is in Lafayette, Louisiana. Toronto, Canada is being represented by Uncle Peter. We've got, I lost you guys. It's gone forever. We've got another Dallas with Mars Whip in the house. We got a lot of Dallas today, maybe too much. We got Zara from Rodizio, New Mexico. We got Sean from Santa Barbara. We got Kevin is in Philly. It's right over the bridge, not far at all. Jacob is in Monroe, Louisiana, and Doug's in Cleveland. We've got Utah with Regilio. We got Lincoln in Sweden. We've got Woodinville, Washington with Frigginator. Frigginator, I feel like you always say something different in Washington. You're just like a nomad wandering around. We got Colony, New York with David. We got Rio Rancho, New Mexico with Shallander. Indiana in the house with Weird Quirky. So we got people that are chilling from all over the place, which is always cool. Now they're going to start again with Sturgis from South Dakota with Ralph. So that's always one of the fun things we like to do is just dive in there and see where people are coming from.
That's awesome. Hello from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, we're actually pretty local today. Like there's a little less international today, which is crazy when you've got 6-7 different countries weighing in. Awesome. And then I'm always like, what freaking time is it there? And because I've asked that so many times, I'm starting to know. Oh, Australia, it's probably like 3 a.m.
Yep. Wow.
And like New Zealand, it's like, oh, they're listening to us tomorrow. Something weird. So it becomes like time zones are like they're like time travel without a TARDIS. We got Ireland in the house too with Fergal, which is awesome.
That's rad.
Wow, cool. Frigginator, I do what I want. I work all over the place. That is why. We got Shiva the Stabber is at the 420th layer of the abyss known as Oklahoma.
They have a song about that, right? It's like, oh, Oklahoma.
There might be. Maybe there should be. So your Kickstarter is going on for the next, I want to say 20 days.
Next 20 days. And then I will be drawing things on everywhere. And I do a lot of other projects, and so I'll probably just try to stream as much of them as I can. So you can always watch what's going on or check it out and see on the social what I'm making. But yeah, I'm focusing on this for next 20 days and we'll see how it goes.
You're also, people can follow you on Instagram and see your stuff over there. Did you
yep.
in Inktober?
I did half of Inktober, and then I went on a trip to Amsterdam and then the Netherlands, and I dropped off, and I just could not keep up with all of those things. I lost my notebook, my drawing notebook, on the plane on the flight there. Bought a new one in Amsterdam, had it for a week, lost that one, and then United gave me my notebook back when I got on the flight home. So it was like
nice.
that week was, or the 2 weeks that I was there just disappeared.
As if it didn't exist.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I can't believe that they like people have been giving United a hard time, and I don't know that returning my notebook will change that, but that was really, really nice. So thank you, United.
Yeah, dragging people off the plane, giving you your notebook back.
Right? Yeah, I think they're about even. You know,
It's close.
All is forgiven. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that was really nice of them.
Ed does everything. What was your most challenging piece of art to make?
I think it's always the one that I'm working on right now. Yeah, like I thinking about it like that, like athletic thing, like it's like practice. It's like you have good days and you have bad days. And I think the most challenging thing is looking back at something and being like, ooh, I blew it on that one. Figuring out if I should redo it. But I mean, of the ones, I guess if we're looking at the Kickstarter, I think that the slime cube with the skull in it, like that was really hard to figure out how to make it feel like it was translucent. And just trying to like keep it to like really simple colors. I don't like to use more than 4 or 5 colors in a single image. I want to keep it simple, so that was hard, but I'm happy with how it came out.
No vomiting the rainbow.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I should sometime, but yeah, I think I just, because it's like such simple line art, and so I don't want to like ruin that. Like I want color to just organize what's there, not put other things that weren't there in like the simplest kind of way.
So Ralph wants to know: do you only do character sketches, or do you scenic sites also?
I do, yeah, I do. I've been focusing more on maps, but my Instagram, I think, I mean, I'm for the Kickstarter, I sort of just want to focus on like things that people can use while they play. I think that's sort of interesting, but I definitely like to do scenes, and buildings and dungeons and places, like scenes like a fighting scene. I think illustrating like action happening is really, really hard. And I haven't been focusing as much on that, but I could. And that's something, I mean, yeah, if you pledge and like choose something and then you're like, I really want it to be like this, like I'm not going to say no. So unless it's crazy or something, I don't know.
So let's see. So we do have a question. Garrett, do you take requests for character sketches? Yes, there's a whole Kickstarter right now dedicated to that.
Yes, I do.
So you can find the link in the description as always. So you had also mentioned the board game. We kind of like blew through that before we went into the roll call, and it looks really, really sharp. How long have you been working on that?
I had the idea for that 5 years ago. So it's like a long time. But so initially, all right, I should back up. So that's a game. It's at tesseraxwords.com. Tesserax is with an X. And it is you each have a home planet, and you're trying to take over the rest of the universe, and the whole universe is made of cards that are just like different things in their faces. And initially, the whole game was made of dice that I had carved out of wood myself. This was before I knew what 3D printing was, and maybe the reason I got interested in 3D printing. So I made around 200 big wooden dice that you would stack up on top of each other, and it kind of looked like Minecraft. And people liked the game, and they thought it was fun. I brought it. I used to live in Boston, so I would bring it to the Boston Game Makers Guild. And I think actually a guy who was like a play tester and like professional StarCraft player was like, "This is really cool. I enjoy it." But it kind of languished because I didn't know how to release it. And so about a year ago, I changed it over from like physical dice to just cards that you would draw from a deck, and then kept working on it since then. So I've done a few other iterations of it with different styles of the cards and different numbers, and kind of trying to get the math to feel right. And I play tested it at the Boston Festival of Indie Games back in September. Sold some people some playtester copies, so they are continuing to play. The game's almost finished. It just needs and like, you know, all the fancy stuff that you want from a game. So like a nice box and a nice rule deck. I've been figuring out if I can manufacture game pieces for it. So yeah, just trying to, you know, make it look good, and I think making a game is a really cool process, but there's a lot to it. It's fun, but yeah, it's involved because you want it to be fun. You want it to feel good for the people who, you know, buy it, and it works. And any game with randomness has a lot of edge cases that I need to like figure out the rules for. So that's sort of been what's happening right now, is just like little tweaks and changes to make it as fun as possible.
You need to break stuff.
You need to break stuff, yeah, and you get people to break it for you, and they are happy to do that.
Now, both of the people that I know that actually made games and had them published and done successful Kickstarters, neither of them actually went to market with their first game. Like, and like the one, like they just couldn't find interest in it, and it's a lot of fun. Was Kobolds, and that was how we met Cardboard Fortress. And they like published several games since then, but that one hasn't been able to come to market. And then our other friend Todd, he came up with a game, and you know, it was too complex, so he ended up having to make a simpler game, and now he's on to like his second game that's simpler. So it's a weird progression that I've seen from the couple people that I know that are actually doing it, where it's like where they've like had to take a break from the game they were working on and then go back to it.
Yep. Yeah. I experienced the same thing. I was just like, I'm stuck on this. I need to forget about it and think about something else for a little bit. Because it's hard, and like especially because you're I think when you get like attached to certain rules, you know, like you can only, you get so in your own box that sometimes you need to like forget it, so that you can kind of be like, oh, of course this is the problem, and like knock that wall over, and you're like, ta-da, it works. You're so deep in it that you get kind of stuck, and you're like, what's happening? And same thing with drawing too, actually. Like I like to do a sketch one day and then do the line art, like the inking and color the next day. Because I see the mistakes a lot better if I give it some time.
Yeah, you let it breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a question in the chat from Fergal Cutting, which I find a little bit funny. Only I'm not making fun of you, Fergal. It's just because you wouldn't know. But the question is, would you ever consider picking up a 3D pen or a 3D printer to make your own models?
I do. A 3D pen would be very hard to do, and I'm not that good with that. But I do also 3D design because I am a community manager at Shapeways. However, there's a really, really, really good website called Hero Forge that does miniatures that look incredible, and I'll never make anything better than that. They're so good, and like they're very affordable. I think it's like $30 for a miniature. And like I would be more than happy to make like 3D design someone a miniature, but that's like 10-15 hours of work. And it's like a lot to do a series of commissions for. And like what's on Hero Forge already is like, it's great. It's really good. So you should go to them. But if you want drawings, you should come to me.
So, you know, I often struggle a little bit to like describe what Shapeways is, because you guys sell 3D printed stuff, but it's like more than that, right? Because it's like a community of creators that come together through Shapeways to bring their 3D goods to the marketplace.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the easiest comparison is like Etsy. So we are a marketplace of people who are creating their own 3D designs on their computer, So it's like they upload an STL file, and then you can print it yourself, or you can offer that for sale to someone else, and then you set your own price. So you can make some dice or a miniature, and then you put that up in your shop, and then someone comes along and they're like, I really like that kobold, so I'm going to buy it. And then they get the profit. Shapeways does the manufacturing and gets that money. It gets shipped directly to you. And so a company called Hero Forge has made a like video game style system for making their own your own character. So you like choose the race, the class, and what they're holding, and kind of anything that you want. And then that gets sent to Shapeways, and we print it and ship it right to you. So yeah, it's a 3D printing service, but it's also like a platform for people to make and share and sell their own designs.
Yeah, and you guys have like, and you guys have tons of stuff, not just gaming stuff. It's like there's tons of cool stuff you could use for gaming, like miniatures and terrain pieces and stuff like that. But then you guys also have tons of other stuff as well.
Yep. Yeah, we do like jewelry, we do fashion, we do mathematical art, all kinds of art, every art that you could ever imagine. We do RC cars and other miniatures. We do phone cases. It literally is anything that you could imagine and make a 3D model of and print in a bunch of different materials, you can make. And that's plastics, that's metals, that's porcelain, that's like crazy cool stuff that's yeah, we do. Yeah, Shapeways.
Have you ever stumbled upon something you guys make and you're just like, we make what?
Yeah. Yeah, there's you know, people make all kinds of weird things. I don't know if your show's PG or R or whatever, so
Here, I'll help you out a little bit. So we use Amazon affiliate links for a lot of products, and
yep.
The way that works is if anybody ever buys something from one of your links, whether it's the thing they went there for or not, you get credit for it.
Yeah.
And I was just going through like the report at the end of the month one day, and I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know we were so popular for sex toys. So
yeah, and I mean the problem with some of our materials for sex toys is that they may not be safe. So they're definitely there. They're just I wouldn't recommend them.
Yeah, that's funny.
And yeah, but it's like weird cool stuff too. Like one time a guy printed out parts for a nuclear reactor that he was building in Brooklyn, and the FBI found him. And they were like, "Are you really doing this?" And he was like, "Yep." And they're like, "Okay, this works. You can't do this anymore."
Oh man, it's not good when the men in black suits show up at your door.
They're like, "This is actually a nuclear reactor." Wow. Okay. Yeah. And you can come visit and see our factory. It's in Long Island City if you are in the New York area, or we have a factory in Eindhoven, the Netherlands, if you live over there.
Square. I want to visit that one. Can you guys bring me over there?
yeah, come on over. Eindhoven is great. It's like it's beautiful. It's like where Philips headquarters used to be. So it's all Philips. Like there's the most lights in any like city that's not Times Square. It's cool.
Yeah, do you have to go to the Netherlands sometimes for work?
That's I was just there for Dutch Design Week. So that's a big design festival, and it's sort of centered around the Dutch Design Academy, their like senior show. So I got to see that or like the graduate show. I'm sorry, and see all of the work that they do. And then there's all these other things. So we had our designers there, and you know, there's tons of companies showing off their stuff, and just kind of like everything. It's really sweet.
I'm just looking at the chat a little bit, but no, that is really sweet. So someone came in, Keith came in to us just talking about the sex toys.
Oh, good. That always happens. Anytime I'm in a room, that's where the conversation goes. So
yeah. Ed Does Everything had kind of like more of a, I guess, like business technical question about what you guys do over there. what, if any, lean processes are you driving towards for improvement on your production floor?
Oh, we're all about lean, 5S and Six Sigma and all that kind of manufacturing stuff. And I'm not as like appraised in it, but yeah, we just do it. We're obsessed. And so we're it's all about like we have a lot of like the main thing about Shapeways is that we have really big industrial machines. So it's not just like the little maker bots that people might have at home. I have one, I think it's great, but it's huge industrial machines that cost hundreds of thousands to like $500,000, and we incredibly efficiently and try to like just stack them with products, hundreds of products, print them, and then kind of keep them going. I guess if you're into lean, we're cool because we have zero inventory, but lots of waste in the form of time. Not lots, but like that's what we have to cut down is time as waste. So yeah. So I'll nerd about. I think nerding out about lean is like second to me after nerding out about role playing games. So yeah, it's cool.
It does everything. Sorry, PhD in physics and additive manufacture, kind of my thing.
Yep, very cool.
That's all right. Everyone has their own thing, and that's fine. So, do you like how many 3D printers do you guys have running over there? Do you know roughly?
A bunch. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, maybe 20, 25.
Okay, that's not as many as I would think. I mean,
but they're big. They're like they're huge. They're like the size of like big refrigerators.
So they produce stuff a lot faster.
So they can produce stuff. Yeah, exactly. And they can fit a lot of things in them. So like the max print size is 650 by 550 by 350 millimeters, which is like you lying in a bathtub, pretty much. It's like a bathtub.
So, yeah. So you guys, like we've mentioned Hero Forge, but you guys actually, you guys are the provider. They have the software. You go, you make your guy, but then you guys are actually the ones that actually print out the minis and ship them out.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we do the manufacturing.
Which, how long have they been around? Have they been around about 2 years? Is that how you got into D&D?
Hero Forge, yeah, they're like 3 years old. And they definitely like, they were part of it. I don't know if you knew. Oh, you might have met them briefly. But like Ceramic Wombat, and Envenomate are two shop owners that make really cool dice. Another guy, Chris Voss, all do sweet dice, and they got me into it. Chris Voss runs Tiny Tokens on Shapeways, and so just kind of like seeing the cool. I didn't realize like how unique the dice were initially. Like I was just like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, wait, actually, these are like very, very avant-garde. And that I sort of saw what was going on, kind of that way. And then just like my job and my goal is always to like really dive in and understand what people are doing and how we can help and, how we can make it better. So yeah, I learned through doing, and then you wind up being like, yeah, this is cool.
No, that's cool. Like I'm always curious and interested in seeing how people come to the hobby, and I am a huge proponent for it. Doesn't really matter how they get here, as long as we keep bringing in new people, that's going to keep things going.
Yeah. What would you say is like most important for new people to know and to understand for getting into the hobby?
We say it oftentimes, and like I feel like this is better. It's more advice for veteran players and people who've been playing for a while, but I feel like it's something that people should remember, and that is it's just a game.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a game where you play games to have fun, and if that's not happening, then you're doing it wrong somehow. If you're putting like the game mechanics and rules above people and things like that, then you're kind of doing it wrong. It should be, people ask us certain questions, and I'm always like, who the hell are you guys playing with? Like, because like when I think I think like I think of my friends, right, or people that I'm interested in interacting with on a social level and becoming friends with.
Yeah.
You may start gaming with strangers, but hopefully you get to the point where your table is full of new friends or old friends, or 20 years from now, friends that you've met because of gaming.
Totally. Yeah, it's all about hanging out with people and enjoying it, and yeah, I think that's why I like it. Is because I'm definitely like a people person, and so a game that's like, let's get together and do something fun and drink a beer or or a coffee or whatever is my jam.
Yeah, it's social, and like as we become more connected globally with technology, we become less actually social because we're not interacting person to person. And this is one of those things where you can play it online, but it's still a lot more fun to sit at a table with a group of people and get together. And like you said, whether it's drink a beer or drink your Mountain Dew and eat your Doritos, whatever the case may be.
Yep. Yeah.
So we are right up on the hour mark, a little bit past. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I want to thank everyone in the chat. Again, Andrew, all of his links are in the description. You can check him out. Check out the Kickstarter, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Go follow him.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
And also check out Shapeways as well. I did not. Oh, for sure.
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second there. That was the first problem that we've had. That's not bad to get through an hour.
I was just giving the rundown of all of your stuff and Shapeways. And Shapeways is actually one of our new sponsors for the Saber Dice game.
Yep.
Jim Davis actually thought we said Shakeways. And he's like, are you guys calling me fat? What's going on? Like, no, shake weight.
That's how you don't get an interview at Shapeways. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, cool. But Shapeways for your 3D printing needs. Go check it out.
Yep.
So,
and we're very excited to be sponsoring too. So I'm sorry.
No worries. So until next time, guys, stay nerdy.
Cool. Thank you.